So guys, we're gonna do some budget 4-gear builds. So already got them to this point just because I had to work on them earlier. My light moved over here so it's not covering my head. But basically start with a standard 4-gear like this, funny car typically. And we go through, put pickup shoes on it, put a Viper guide pin in it, narrowed razor front end, and then we do a double flange rear rim, and we're gonna run our new 492s on these ones. So I used to run a different tire on these before we had the 492, and it was a lot smaller, which is why I would always remove one traction magnet. But since we don't have to do that anymore, now you can have the option of removing it if you want. So I'm gonna just go ahead and throw these rims on. Another thing too, we did just get our wheel presses back in stock. Actually, we got them, we haven't restocked them yet. The guys are working on them now, but we should have those on by tonight. So I went ahead and grabbed one out of there just to make sure that I was happy with everything. And as always, they are awesome. So one thing to note real quick, let me put my glasses on here, my extra glasses, is before I push these rims on all the way, I always put some oil between the axle and the chassis, just in case you overpress the wheel on there. You won't have room to, you won't have any room there to get oil in there. You have to pull the rim off a little bit. You definitely want to oil that spot of them. So something else that I just started doing too, if you were paying attention in the last video, is I started cracking the screw loose, like a quarter turn on these, to just try to hopefully free up the back of the car a little bit. So we're gonna go through, get all these things to the point where they're ready to run. Actually, I'll put this one on the run stand here as soon as I get the rear tires on it. Might have to do it without the rear tires because of the size of them, but let's just see. That's kind of my sequence, is once I get one to where it is running, I'll go ahead and oil everything, and then I'll just let it sit on the run stand for a few minutes. So let's see if this guy fits on there. Looks like it does. Make sure that the tires spin as good as true as they can. Sometimes it's a challenge on these things because the axles are just not, they're just not super super true, unfortunately. So run that one while we go through and get the rest of these guys going. I was a little bit bummed. One of them that I was working on right out of the box had a broken pickup shoe tab, which is kind of annoying because now I got to find a chassis for that one in order to make it usable. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop the axles on the rest of these guys. Okay, also too, don't forget to oil. I'll actually go through and do that to all of them. So these cars, because we announced our next SCDRL race, we're making sure that we get a sufficient amount of drag cars up on the site. We try to always have stuff on there. And again, you know, the mods that we're doing to these right at this moment, they are really just getting that baseline better, and more consistent. These aren't necessarily speed mods. They certainly can be, but that's not necessarily what we're advertising these ones as. These ones are just made to be consistent, good runners. I'm going to oil up the rest of this thing here. Make sure that Everything spins the way that we want it to. Happy birthday. Is it my, that's not my birthday today. I don't know why it says that. That's strange. But definitely not my birthday today. My birthday is in May. But we'll see. If it says it's our birthday, then we'll take it, but it is not. Okay, one's up. I'm just going to cruise on through. Then we'll head back to the track. Usually on these things, I make sure that they sound okay on the track, and then I also make sure if the pickup shoes need tweaked at all, I usually do that as well. So, since we have changed the tire size, and really on these ones it was tricky designing the shoe because there's so many different sizes of tires that can go on them. A lot of times, you know, with a platform like the Viper platform, the way the pickup shoe system works, you can change your front tire size without it affecting how flat your shoe rides. So, but on these particular car, that luxury is not there. So I'm just making sure everything's oiled up. If you do, you know, want something like this and you want it to be fast, I would say, you know, like the last video, just throw a 5.5 ohm arm in that thing and you would be pretty happy with it. So these things are just painful running on that block, but it's okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that one. Yeah, hopefully everybody's got a good Monday going so far. We've been super busy here, making videos with Sam, new products coming in, checking stuff, some prototype stuff, checking out everything to make sure that it all meets the spec that it's supposed to, and then from there we relay back and say, yep, let's do it, let's go ahead and make a run. But I gotta get these cars done so we can get them on the site, start loading that stuff back up, so that if anybody wants to get in on the action for SCDRL, you can. We have had people in the past too buy these particular cars and then donate them as race prizes, which is always cool. So we appreciate the guys that have done that. But also too, I mean, we have guys that they'll buy these cars and keep them here for the race, you know. Okay, one more to go. So anybody that's watching right now, I'm just curious, but if you have never drag raced an HO slot car, I want you to just maybe just comment me. I'm just curious. And this isn't, you know, nothing's gonna happen or anything like that. I'm just curious because I suspect quite a bit of people haven't drag raced. A lot of people they don't really get the reason why, or like they can't see the fun in drag racing. And I can tell you guys that I know it's just a straight line, but it can be very, very exciting, a lot of fun, great for all skill levels, because to participate, you do only need to be able to squeeze the trigger if you have your own track. When you get on the competitive side, obviously, just like with anything else, it's super competitive. So it's not just a, you know, oh, I squeeze the trigger and go down the track. It's a lot more involved than that on the competitive side. But, you know, one good thing about that with the SCDRL group that we have created with Viper is that the computer controls all that. So it removes the human factor from driving the car, which I get. You know, some people are like, oh, I want to drive my car, I don't want a computer to drive. You know, I get that, but you'd have to come to Utah in order to drive that thing. A lot of people don't have a track, they don't have a track around them. So they'll buy or build cars and send them out to us. So, okay, we're gonna put our last one on there. So a couple things I'm looking for, and there's not a lot I can do about it, but when I put the cars on the run stand, I'm checking to see what the amp draw is. So here's kind of a flyover of the cars. I'm seeing what the amp draw is just to get an idea of where they're at. And these particular ones, they're all under 0.2. One of them was over, which just means that that one's probably tight. So it is possible that when we go out and run them on the track, we might find one that's a little bit tight. But before we go out there, and while that one is still running, I'm just going to kind of go back and forth on my test block here just to see how the shoes look, which, you know, depending on your rail height, because of the way that these shoes are designed, you could have an adjustment needed. But I think we'll head out to the track and we'll see. So let's see, how many parts are compatible V2 to V3? We actually don't have a V2, but we have the V3. So everything but the traction mags. But you know what? This video is about the 4-gear cars that I'm working on. Be happy to answer your questions via email on the Viper V3, but I can say in short, the only thing that's different is traction mags, chassis, and clip, and the timing bracket, but they are interchangeable as far as the timing brackets go. The chassis, magnet clip, and traction mags, the V1 and the V3 are different. So let's head out to the track. I am going to take, let's see, I'll flip you guys around here. So here's a little pile of cars, pile of hoopties. We're going to go out to the drag strip. Hold on, guys. I gotta open my door. There we go. So we don't usually worry about testing those with the body on, just because that's not going to change anything that we're testing right now. But make sure everything over here looks good. Okay, and we'll start with one car at a time. And we ran the track earlier, but I don't actually know. Hold up here. We gotta, sorry guys. Wasn't 100% ready back here. We're playing around back here this weekend. Had my kids back here playing with stuff, and another family with kids that were checking out slot car stuff. So we kind of moved stuff around as we were running stuff. So it'll take me just a second to make sure we're all good. So tire is cleaned on that one. Set it down on the track here. And let's see if, okay, let's see if we could just keep this like that. So, all right, so first one, here we go. All right. So first pass, 1.10. Okay, and so I'm gonna look at the pickup shoe wear on there, and I'm gonna adjust it. So I know you guys can't really see me. It actually looks really, really good. There's a little tiny spot on this one, but I think I just made a minor adjustment to that side. Clean the tire. So 1.108 was our number. We'll do one more pass with this one. 1.108. Let's see what that one is. Okay, so 1.114, so then 8 thousandths. Pickup shoes look almost the same, so we're going to call that one good. Next one up. Again, these things range from 1.2s stock to 1.7, so 1.0 and 1.1. I'm happy with that. That one definitely sounded a little bit lazier, but it is what it is. It's just inconsistencies in the motor and the magnets and all that stuff. Still ran 1.23, so without the upgrades, this one definitely was probably on the slower side. Shoe wear looks really good. We'll run it one more pass just so that we, doing the same thing on all of these things. Let's see what comments you got going here. Jeff never drag raced. Yep. Drag racing is a blast though. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so that car 1.19. So, happy with that. We're just gonna keep on moving through. Next one up. I mean, they're all built the same. You suspect them to be the same from the factory, but I know that there's all kinds of factors there. That one definitely was a lot slower, so 1.3. And I actually just noticed on this one that it looks like one of the shoes is got some weird bends in it. So we're gonna have to fix that one because that definitely will affect performance. So let me modify that real quick. See if we can get her happy. Here we go. If you guys are hating the camera view, I apologize. Yeah, still not happy. So that car we will take back up front. We'll fix the shoe up on that one. We'll move on to the next one. Here we go. Yeah, so these particular cars, the last two, the shoes look good on that one, but the last two, they just don't have the RPM. So could be a different batch of motors. A lot of times, to make these cars, we're either using the standard 4-gear roller, or we're taking an actual car and making it into, like, we're taking a car that we've bought, pulling the body off of it and modding it. And so, I've suspected in the past that maybe the ready-to-run car, or the cars that they sell as rollers without bodies, they're like 16 or 18 bucks. I've suspected that those have different motors before, but I always thought, like, why would they do that? Let's see, I gotta abort the race here. I always think, why would they do that if they were, mass produced? Like, why wouldn't you just produce it without the body? So, but we'll get it figured out. It's the joy of modifying toy cars. But I can definitely hear that it just doesn't have the RPM. Running consistent though. I mean, it's running pretty consistent, just not super exciting. So we'll double check those ones back up in the office. I'll change the view for you guys on this last one here. Okay. 125. So you can see pickup shoes look good. So we'll do another run on that one. Totally inconsistent there. So that is what drives me bonkers with these things, is that inconsistency. Shoes look good. Let's see, I'll set you guys down here. We'll clean the tires. Make sure the track's not live. Okay, so it is possible that even with those big tires, it is possible that this thing is still rubbing the track. So we might have to pull the traction mag out of it. I bet that was, yeah, see, this thing is just getting slower and slower and slower. So not good. Definitely the joys of messing with the toy stuff, because we have 3 that are pretty lackluster. These 2 are the only 2 that I'm happy with, so we're gonna go back up into the office. Keep the doors closed because we got the AC on. Try to keep it 70 degrees in here. It's a nice happy temperature. Same in the winter. 70 degrees is our number. Let's see, let me just set you guys. Whoa. Set you guys down here. Close the door because those guys are loud. Okay, so what we're gonna do on these, I'm gonna look real quick, make sure we have clearance, which we do, not too much though. So definitely pretty low in the back. Let's see what a stock rear is on these things, because when you're running stock, I mean, you really don't want to lower it too much on these things. So stock is 518. And these are 492, so that's quite a bit of a difference. We might try pulling the magnet out of one. But before I do that though, I am gonna check something here real quick and just see if maybe the rear end is really tight in these cars. You know, sometimes these videos, not only are we showing you guys what we're doing, but I like showing the process of, you know, determining like what's wrong with the car, troubleshooting, and what to look for. And sometimes on this stuff, I mean, especially cars like this, like, I'm still not an expert. Yeah, like that thing is just dirty tight, you know, like it just has some massive tight spots in it. I can feel the gears getting together. And a lot of that is the cluster gear. Or I think it's called the cluster gear. The cluster gear is just doing, you know, helicopter motion. So we're gonna see if we loosen that up a little bit more. Okay, that feels much better. Like how that feels now. Also too, underneath this idler gear, totally dry. So I think from the factory they probably put oil on the top or grease on the top, which is totally pointless because it actually needs to be down there in the bottom. But we will see. Let's just run back out to the track right now and we'll see how this one works. And if that does the trick, then that's what we're gonna do to those other 2 cars. But I only got 5 minutes left that I could be live because I gotta jump into a meeting, 2:30. So hopefully this figures it out. If not, I'll be doing this one to be continued, and then we'll figure it out together. So clean the tires again, make sure the track is not live. Okay, flip you guys around. Here we go. Okay, so still just not hitting a lot of RPM. but did sound a little bit less like it was pulsing. They're just, man, it's just slow. Like that is just real slow. So let's head back up. Still a little bit like meh on this thing. 2013 Quattro. Pretty slick. So we'll keep tinkering with it. I mean, funny thing, I've never owned one of these arms, and although they look the same, I mean that really doesn't mean anything, but I mean they kind of look like a different shade compared to the other two, so there is potential that they could have different ohm arm. I don't know why on earth they would do that, but they certainly are slow, which nobody likes. So real quick, one more thing that we'll try, and you know, this is going to help this particular car. What it's not going to do is it's not going to tell us why this particular car was slower than the other cars. But I popped the traction mag out, which you saw me do. You just push it down through the top. There's a couple of little holes there. We're going to see if we pick up at all. So sometimes this is how it goes on these cars. I mean, if I was building Viper cars, I'd know exactly how they're going to run. Sometimes this is kind of why, this is also why you can end up with a lot of money into a toy car, is because you can chase things. You know, obviously we try to, the shock is live still. We try our best to, you know, make sure that this stuff is kept as economical as possible, but if it's taken an hour, half an hour to diagnose a car that's $20, it's not good. Okay, so that was much better. That was with one traction mag removed. 119. So that was it, guys. Just too much downforce on that one, which, you know, that could mean, you know, still the armature. It could be a different armature. It could be a 20 ohm instead of a 16 ohm or whatever. I don't even know what these things have in them. I just know when we put 5.5 ohms, they rip. But I'll definitely do that to the other two cars. Make sure they run down in that 1.1 range. You know, and if you end up with one of these cars, it will come with that extra traction mag, so don't worry about that. You can also lower the mags in these things. So if you did put too big of a tire, or if you needed a little bit more magnet than just what one can provide, that thing is a little bit below flush in the chassis, so you could definitely move it down a little bit. To do that, I usually will put it on a flat surface like this, and I'll just tap it flush. If you want it raised up, that's a little bit trickier. If you want it to drop out the bottom, it's a little bit trickier, but you can do that too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It's always a challenge, but also always learning something new on these things. And when you're, you know, buying the stuff from the same places that you guys are buying that stuff, as far as the Autoworld stuff goes, you just never know what you're going to get. So not all of them are created equal. And if I find anything else out on these other two, I'm going to just pull the mag out of those ones also. But if I find something else out on them, I'll let you guys know in the comments. So make sure to keep an eye on that if you are curious. So hopefully you guys have a good one. We'll see you later.